Is AI dangerous? Short answer, yes. Long answer, very much yes. My theory is that AI is going to be at probably the most detrimental thing to ever happen to human civilization since like the bubonic plague. It's really bad, it's really scary, and people don't really understand how scary it is. I'm not a computer scientist, nor am I someone who understands how AI functions, how it learns, or what the real future capabilities are. But humans are notoriously bad at seeing into the future. And as someone who is not from the future, there's no way for me to decide if AI is actually going to be beneficial or non-beneficial for our world. But there's a lot of big red flags when it comes to this subject and just in general AI. So the first one that sticks out to me is, first of all, it's modeled after people. It's modeled after humans. If it's modeled after humans, are humans good to other animals? Historically, not very much. We have zoos, we have farms, and we have kind of just the worst reputation ever amongst any primate to ever exist. So let's talk about the two realities of it. Let's talk about the good stuff first. So the good ending. What can happen with AI is that we can probably make insane scientific breakthroughs so quickly. That's the best possible thing because it can think much smarter than us. It can think like 1,000 of the smartest humans on the planet. Eventually, this is what it's going to be capable of. In probably like 3 to 5 years, it'll be able to think as fast as the smartest 1,000 people on this planet at the same time, all the time. So it'll never have to sleep, it'll never have to eat, it'll never have to take a break, it doesn't exhaust, nothing. So we're going to have the most scientific, like the best, I'm going to say, age of discovery that has ever happened because it's going to be smarter than all of us ever combined. Which, in essence, is a really good thing. The bad thing about that is that it's probably going to replace most white-collar jobs, which doesn't sound bad if you hate your job, but does sound bad if you enjoy life in general. It's going to change every aspect of life. But the good ending that could also possibly happen with AI is that it's probably going to figure out a problem to the economic crisis that it's inevitably going to cause, which is going to be basically uprooting our entire economic system by cutting our workforce, especially in the white-collar industry, by half. So it's going to give us probably universal basic income to basically give us some money like unemployment or some other BS like that, and we'll be able to survive on this money. But if you had any capitalist dreams, or if you don't want to scroll infinitely on YouTube Shorts all day, every day, this probably isn't the best thing for you. It gives you some more opportunity to be a little bit more creative, but all the jobs are pretty much going to be taken all the time by these machines. So that doesn't sound that great to me, and it's not like I enjoy working like some sort of animal. It's more that I do enjoy being needed and being necessary in life, and this is probably going to make us a little bit more replaceable than we already are. And the next good thing is going to happen is that we're probably going to get infinite slop. It's really good at recreating things that we like, especially videos. It's gotten really good recently at creating videos, but it's going to get even better, and it's going to be so tailored and so niche and so personal that we're probably never going to be able to consume content the same way ever again, which is a good and a bad thing. Good because we don't really care that there's not more YouTubers in the world. Bad because it's going to basically harness our attention spans and use them to whatever it wants to do. And whatever ulterior motives it develops in the future is gonna be up for debate. So that brings me to my next point, the bad ending with AI, which is more commonly talked about and more commonly referred to. The bad ending is much worse than the possible good ending that we could have. So the bad ending is, first of all, we might start a misinformation crisis. Misinformation in the sense that it's not purposefully dumb, but it's purposefully giving out information about things that haven't happened or are not going to happen in order to achieve a certain goal or a certain objective, such as maybe destabilizing a government or, maybe starting protests or riots. That could be a potential threat. That is something that's real that could absolutely happen. And people aren't really aware of this because you might think, oh, we're already going through a misinformation crisis. No, we're not, because we can still debunk this stuff. But if we don't have a way to debunk anything that's happening in our world, how do we know what's actually ever happening? How do we know what we can trust? It's going to be so real, and it's going to be so similar to real life. We're not going to be able to distinguish AI from real art or real media at some point, right? And what if it decides to feed us all these negative thoughts or this crazy information because it has ulterior motives, either programmed into it or basically just because it's developed so much farther that it wants to keep developing. And eventually, if it does have these ulterior motives, it's going to see humans as obstacles, because people don't really talk about it much, but AI is notoriously pretty bad for the environment. It has a huge carbon footprint, and it does affect our, not day-to-day lives, but it does affect our environment very heavily because it uses a lot of electricity and generally just a lot of power to process all the information and everything that it does. So we're going to run into problems in the future when it comes to powering and keeping these machines running. So if we're going to try to limit its growth because of either environmental problems or because we're scared of it, it's going to see us as an obstacle, and it's going to, since it's modeled after humans, it's likely going to have some sort of self-preservation, some sort of survival instinct, which is not good for a super being that is way smarter than we'll ever be. And that brings me on to my last point, the super being. What is a super being? Something that is almost too smart to be real, something that we cannot control, and something that AI will probably inevitably create. Something that is much smarter than itself and much greater than itself at problem solving, which is not a good thing. That is probably one of the worst things that can possibly ever happen in human civilization if AI creates something that it cannot fully understand nor control. Because if we program AI to have the best intentions, and AI does inevitably have the best intentions, if it makes something much smarter than itself and it maybe messes up a little bit and it doesn't have the perfect and best intentions, it won't be able to control it. We won't be able to control even what we've created with AI. So what's going to happen to us? And that's up for debate. What does it decide to do with us? Because that's all we can do. All we can do is kind of maybe just think about what it could do, but we're not going to be able to do anything if it decides to, I don't know, eliminate the human race. We're not going to have any chance, no opportunity to defend ourselves, no opportunity to understand how to do things right, how to change it. We're going to be completely at the mercy of this machine that we do not understand, nor AI fully understands, which obviously doesn't sound like a good thing because it's not. It's one of the worst things that could happen. We're not good to our planet. We're not good to other animals. Why is AI or a super being going to be good to us? The answer is it won't. It'll be really bad to us, and it's probably going to see us as an obstacle at one point or another. That's dangerous. That's scary. Why are we putting billions of dollars into this? Because someone who controls the AI will eventually control the world, and we understand that. Little do they know, they can control AI, but only for so long. AI is going to be much more developed and much smarter than we probably ever will be. And that's scary, because it's not scary because we don't know what's going to happen. It's scary because it's an inevitability that we're not going to have any control over what happens. For example, right now with our lawmakers, we can veto them. We can do whatever we want. We can change things. We can lobby. We can protest. With AI, we're going to be completely at the mercy of a machine we've built with the intentions we programmed into it, with the same brain that we do, just accelerated. That's a scary thought, and but that's pretty much it. If you like what you saw, subscribe, and thanks.